Welcome back everyone, it's your one and only Obscure Games coming at you with another episode of The Outer Worlds. And in today's episode, guys, it's going to be part 9 if I'm not mistaken. We are doing a breaking into a prison facility to save the doctor. And right now I would really like to see, okay, where is my character? There we go, I got 40 available, yeah? So we can go for meal for 5, we go for range to 45. I can't, okay, so I have to go 45 for this. And then I need some dialogue, so I have to get my lying to 60. My persuasion, let's go to 60. And alright, and that's it for now. Alright, let's do this, guys. We do this. We do this. We actually. Alright, there we go. Wait, that looks like we are. Okay, the success is gonna be taken out. Shite.
Captain did right by us once.
What?
Now it's our turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardad.
I help him. Break through, guys, go. Nice, good stuff.
Here's a little trick I learned in prison.
Yeah, we are in prison, so teach us some new tricks, maybe. Right, nice, guys. Nice. Nice, alright, let's have a go. Are you dead? Who's shooting me? Alright, nice. Get in, guys, let's do this.
We call this place the Labyrinth. Perhaps we should all meditate on that as we make our descent.
This might be the loneliest place in the whole system.
Not gonna lie, that this does look pretty creepy and all. Who would like to go to this sort of like a prison? Tell me. Pick point available, nice. Whoa, where you going? Yeah, I got 2, so I go for this, guys.
I suppose it would be too late to back out now, huh? Fear not, Captain. I'll watch your back.
I see, okay, let's have a go this way. There's a lot of them. I don't know if I want to go this way or the other way, man, this is so scary. I'm being left on my own in here, but that's cool. Well, with my guys, of course. Shite. This guy's coming closer.
Oh, good. I'm fine.
Right, don't matter, let's go, home,
Done for.
That's the last of them!
Alright, we'll go this way. Or maybe this way. Alright, I'm just gonna try to make sure that they don't spot me. Oh, I got stuck.
Keep your sights out.
both of them are coming the same way.
Something's not
Here
right.
they come!
We're doing a silent takedowns, baby.
Go!
They didn't even know what hit them. Let's go, baby, we're in. Oh! That, you know what, I'm not gonna lie, this is such a great game card, but we do stop killing people like the guards and all. We need him alive. Alright, there we go. Let's go over there, but how do I... Alright, access storage, my thing, access architecture records, continue, exit, nice. Thank you. I know I picked something, but I'm not sure what it was, so I take that, right?
Mess with us.
I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of easy. Just sneaking past these guys like I'm like some kind of ninja, you know what I mean? There's two of them right here. Just standing there, man.
Get in there, troops! For Monarch! For Halcyon!
What I could do? Do I have my... What is this? Flamethrower. That's 700? Where's the other one? Oh, that looks decent. I'm gonna have to start upgrading this. That's nice. I can't sell that though. Boom. Get in, boy. Come on, guys. Easy. Get wrecked, lad. Right, let's get in there, let's get in. Let the other guys do all the work.
May you find peace in death.
Boom! Kill me off! Come on. Get another one. Crap. Let's go this way, woman. Let's go this way.
Everyone all right?
Good stuff, good stuff.
Your life was merely an illusion anyway.
let's keep going.
Well, look who it is.
Hello, you.
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
And the convict. The vicar. You know, most people, once they're out of prison, don't seem keen on returning.
Oh, I would go anywhere to see you fall, sir.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens.
But do you know we are here and you're talking to us, and I'm gonna kill you, right?
My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man.
Please, Phineas, would rather die than cooperate. That rotten bastard. I will see for myself when I get to him.
Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle.
That's crackpot is saving the frozen colonist you gave up or not. It's a lie. No time. Leave the conversation. Gonna kill him. I don't know if I should kill him or not. Should I?
Here we go. I'll take your confession now.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Oh, they are very strong. Okay. Come on, get up, man. Thank you for your watch.
I'm going. Sure thing.
Oh, I'm overthinking. One minute. Let me just quickly get rid of some stuff. Let's have a look.
Here we go.
Correct, lad. Right now, I don't even give a crap. I'm just going through him. Right, extra.
Here goes nothing.
Thank you, saved my life. That was like the most amount of heal that I had to use.
I've had quite enough of you.
Good stuff. No. Nice.
On your last
gonna give a crap. We go in here.
Everything in my life has been leading up to this point.
It's hard getting through all the guards, and my ammons are like, I got quite a lot of ammo and stuff, but I should have used keep having the thing.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life.
Sorry.
You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
It's over, Sophia. Stand down.
I'm afraid I can't do that. You have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, you would have been the greatest fixer Halcyon has ever seen.
Yeah.
For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy.
Perhaps. I'm here for Felix. Let him go. And you're going to do your duty or die trying. I get it. Let's move it along. Have it your way.
Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony.
Let's talk about it. Don't test me, Sophia. It's bad for your health. You don't understand. Fiona is my friend. I'm not leaving without him. I don't enjoy the thoughts of killing you. There's been enough violence already.
In that we are in agreement. An end to violence is precisely what I want.
No, you don't.
An end to chaos.
But
An end
you're
to
about to
senseless
torture a
loss
man.
of life. The only obstacle standing in my way is you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option.
You always have an option.
Leaving you alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain.
Let's talk about this. Rescuing Phoenix, and I'm going through you if you have.
I had a feeling you'd say that. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Let's see. Right, let's do this. Where do we have to go now? Oh, okay. Seems like it's like a huge robot just standing there waiting for me.
Halt. Sweeping the area.
Here they come.
No, I'm gonna die. But how do we get?
Never anger a man of the
Okay,
cloth.
so hit the back. Alright, what are you? Dad, get out. Anyone else? Thanks for the key card. Nice, we just loot these little bastards out in a minute. Nice, thank you. That wasn't really that hard, you know. Alright, let's go. I didn't even use much of explosive in this thingy. In this mission. Oh, that looks nice. Didn't I tell you that I'm gonna die? Kill you?
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, You broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Are you alright? What did they do to you?
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
Alright, I don't like the sound of that all. Great. And I was just about to pop open some drinks and celebrate.
I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Earth is only an idea to us, but that idea is the bedrock the colony is built upon. If people were to find out it's gone dark, the shock could be too much to bear.
I don't want to imagine what'll happen once news gets out. Let's just keep this between us for now.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
If you say so, we have a lot of work ahead of us, so we'll best get started.
Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
Well, already we've been taking care of the crew, so why not? Somebody has to run this colony. The only competent person left. You can count on me. I'll help you revive the other colonists.
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try.
Right, so what I want to say, interesting. That was like a perfect moment. Ooh.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan.
The Outer Worlds.
But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists.
I think this is the
engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclasts spread like wildfire, and Graham was able to bring many of the smaller Terra 2 townships into the fold. However, his zealous obsession with spreading the word blinded him to the needs of a growing organization, and the movement was unsustainable at scale. The iconoclast way seemed to work best, and ultimately petered out on Monarch. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together.
Oh, she
Adelaide
died.
McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. Before his untimely death, Captain Alex Hawthorne had plans to restore and modify, for combat purposes, a sanitation and maintenance automechanical that he'd found in a state of disrepair in Emerald Vale's scrapyard. That unit remains broken down and forgotten in the Unreliable supply closet to this day. Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
So what I want to say, guys, that was one of the best kind of Fallout style games I ever played. I loved the story, it was really good. Yeah, I can't say that it was like very short, but come on, like much of my walkthroughs were like an hour long, so it was roughly around 20 hours, probably 30 hours, so it was decent. Not gonna lie, it was very fun to play the game. It's good stuff. I enjoy it the most, and I am very pleased to say that that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stay tuned.